What's going on, YouTube? You guys are watching Boxing Talk with Shaka Waka. What's going on, everybody? Yo, in my last video, I gave you guys my top 10 pound-for-pound kings of boxing. But in this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 future pound-for-pound kings of boxing. Just kidding. They might not be pound-for-pound, but these are my top 5 prospects that I think are going to do well in boxing and can be the future. You know, we never know. But before I get into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who comes and likes and comments on my videos. Shout out to all my subscribers and shout out to the whole LDBC, man. Y'all the real ones. Now let's go ahead and get into this list. Now, to be considered on this list, in my opinion, you have to have less than 20 fights. So you won't see Jerron Boots Ennis on here and, you know, shit like that. But he's a good guy. Look out for him, too. He's coming in the welterweight division. He's been calling out Spencer Crawford. The guy has some skills, and we'll see what happens with him. But on my list, you're going to have less than 20 fights. You don't have to have a major amateur career. Just less than 20 fights and have, you know, an ability to get people's attention. You know, these top 5 ones I got here on my list, they got my attention. Now, let's go ahead and start with the list. Now, first I had Joshua Basi. Now, he fights out of Great Britain, but he was born in Ghana. He represents Great Britain right now, though. In his pro career, he has 13 fights with 11 KOs, 0 losses. So the guy has some serious power with those 11 KOs. In his amateur career, he had 27 wins, 6 losses, and only 3 KOs. So I've noticed that, like, in an amateur career, it's been way different from the pros. Like, you know, the headgear and the way people fight in the amateurs is way different from the pros. Like, they don't really necessarily want you to knock people out in the amateurs. They just want you to score points. And so on the list, like, people have way less knockouts. That does not mean that they don't have power, though. Don't get it twisted. Now, he also fought in the World Boxing Series in 2015 to 2016, but he won only 3 of those fights, and he got bronze. So, guy's pretty good. He fights at light heavyweight right now, so he's up there with David Benavidez and all them, you know. The only thing about this guy, he's 27 years old. So, I'm not really sure how he's going to carry along his career. He might be another Joe Joyce, but Joe Joyce had more of a decorated amateur career, so I don't know. He'll definitely have to push things along if he wants to be out there in that spotlight. He's 6'2" with a 74.5-inch reach advantage. Like I said, he's 27. His fighting style kind of puts me in the mind of Anthony Joshua. Very technical, lots of power, likes to go to the body. Yeah, like when he fights, he really puts me in the mind of Joshua. Just a little smaller Joshua, but he's very talented and has a lot of power. So, guys, check out for him. Next I have on my list is Lorenzo Simpson. This guy just got went to not too long ago, actually. He puts me in the mind of like a little Charlo. Likes to go to the body with Jamal Charlo, I would say, in his style and his approach to things. He very good on his feet, light on his feet. In his pro career, he has 9 wins, 0 losses, 5 of those being KOs, so just a little bit over half. So he has a little bit of decent power. In his amateur career, he had 21 wins with 2 losses, and that was back through 2010 to through 2018. So he had a decent career in amateur. He fights at the middleweight right now, southpaw position. He's 5'10" with a 68-inch reach advantage, so he is on the smaller side to be on the middleweight division, but I think he fits right in there. He's a little stocky dude, so I think he fits right in, and he's only 20, so he has time to grow and get into his man straight. And he fights out of Baltimore, Maryland. So check out for Lorenzo Simpson. And next, this is probably my favorite one on this list, just by how he fights. His name is Chrislbert. Very, very flashy outboxer, talented and athletic. I think he's really up there on the list. The only thing about this guy is he wears those little hula hoop dress things, and to my knowledge, those guys they usually don't do that well in their pro career. That's just a suspicion of mine. I'm not saying it's in you know, solid gold, but yeah, I just see that with all the people that wear the little hula hoops things, like Adrian Broner and fucking Big Baby Miller, just to name a few. But yeah, he has 15 pro fights, and he has 0 losses in those fights, 6 of those coming by KO. So not the biggest person in power, but he's very fast, very, very light on his feet, and he barely gets hit. It's fun to watch him. His amateur career, he has 12 wins with 3 losses. That was back in 2012 to 2015. He fights in the lightweight division, so he's down there, with the Gervonta Tank Davis and fucking, whoever else is down there, all them little motherfuckers that ain't fighting each other. But anyway, he's down there, and he's 5'8", with a 71-inch reach advantage. So he has a little stature of a welterweight, honestly. But he's down there fighting. He's only 24 years old. So he has time to move up and get a little bigger and go up there at 147. He is from Brooklyn, New York. Now, next on my list, I do have Michael Williams Jr. I like this guy, but he kind of puts me in the mind of a Devin Haney, the way he fights. In his pro career, he has 14-0, 10 of those coming by knockout. So the guy does have some power. He started his pro debut in 2018. His amateur career is really dry. He only had 4 fights, and he lost 3 of those fights, and that was back in 2011 through 2017. Now, amateur career, like I said, is way different from the pro, so he could do much better. Like I said, he has 14 wins, 10 of those coming by knockout, so it's way different. Dude is only 21 and fights out the orthodox position. 6'1", might I add. He's 6'1", 74-inch reach advantage, but he's fighting at the super lightweight division. 6'1", 74 reach at a super lightweight division. So he has his range could get him up to middleweight if he wants to, or even higher, being at 6'1". And he is from North Carolina. The thing about this guy, though, he, to me, is a slow starter. But his accuracy, definitely on point. If he's throwing a punch, he's hitting. That's how I see it. He's throwing a punch, he's hitting. He's just a slow starter. He's really one of those outboxers that has to calculate his opponents. But when he gets going, he got that shit. Now, this is my other guy right here. He's very exciting to me, even though he's not even in the ring that long. We got Edgar Berlanga. Dude has some serious fucking power. Pro career, 16 fights, 16 wins from 16 knockouts, all in the first round. Dude has some power. Now, you hear that. 16 fights, 16 wins with 16 knockouts, all in the first round. But his amateur career, he had 23 fights with 12 losses with only 2 KOs. In those whole 23 fights that he won, only 2. So I keep elaborating that amateur is way different from pros. Like, I'm trying to elaborate this because how motherfuckers talk about Lomachenko, his amateur career. No, it's different. It's different from the pros. It's a whole different game. You could have did good back then, but it don't necessarily mean you're going to kill it in the pros. And if you do bad in the amateurs, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do bad in the pros. That's all I'm trying to get here, And like I said, these guys really stood out to me, even though their amateur careers ain't really all that. I see them doing good in the pros. Now, back at it. Like I said, he had only 2 KOs. Dude is fighting at the super middleweight division right now, so he's a big guy. 6'1", 73-inch reach. Now, that's kind of close to the Michael Williams Jr. guy. They could be fighting somewhere down the line, honestly. If Michael Williams Jr. moves up, which I would assume he is at 6'1", you know what I'm saying? So I see them fighting somewhere down the line. If they both can stay on their paths, it'll be the puncher versus the outboxer. And Edgar Berlanga here, he is only 23 years old, has definitely time to grow, has definitely time to learn, even though he's getting people out of here in the first round. I seen in one of his fights that his coach made him do push-ups because he wants him to get some rounds in, but the power is just too real. If he can get these guys the fuck out of here and go home, I say do it, But then again, coach knows best. If you need to get those rounds in to prepare yourself for tougher competition down the line, then so be it, This guy right here, Edgar, he reminds me kind of a Danny Garcia. He is Puerto Rican, but that's not why. He reminds me of Danny Garcia because he plants his feet really well when he's swinging. But he's a little lighter on his feet than Danny Garcia. And of course, Danny Garcia has hella power. This guy right here, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, for sure. They're going to have to look out for him pretty soon. He's at 16, so he's getting closer to that 20 mark. He'll be out of the prospect area pretty soon if he keeps winning. Now, these are the people that I have as my top prospects to check out in 2021. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. And if there's anybody that I left out, like I said, I didn't have Jerron Ennis on here. Most people know about him. Or Joey Spencer, I didn't have him on here either. The LDBC really checks up on him. You know, that's a good guy right there. And Virgil Ortiz, of course. But if there's any more out there, leave them in the comment section so I can do some research on them. I love watching these boxing videos and doing research on them. So let me know what you guys think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.